Welcome to Sovereign Mamas, the podcast sanctuary for visionary women who are building lives, businesses, and legacies in alignment with their feminine power. I'm your host, Julia Jerg, intuitive business coach, mama of two, and systems strategist for solo-led entrepreneurs. Here, we honor both your sacred role as a mama and your wild vision as a changemaker. Expect soul-aligned strategy, raw storytelling, behind the scenes, and powerful conversations that support you in scaling your business without sacrifice. If you're done choosing between success and sovereignty, you're home. Let's begin. Welcome to another episode on the Sovereign Mamas podcast. It is wonderful that you're back, or if you're new here, then welcome to the show. This is your moment to relax, lean back, and get inspired, and also reconnected with your motherly instincts, with your purpose. We are talking frequency, spirituality, business, motherhood, all sorts, everything that I truly believe and am passionate about. That means the foundation for anything in life. So the Sovereign Mamas here have amazing stories, and today I'm with Cathy Ho, and there is definitely something that you will walk away with that you might not have heard before or had forgotten about. And I'm just very passionate about sharing these stories. So welcome to the show, Cathy, and hi from Bali to Nicaragua. This is a really cool constellation today.
Well, thank you so much for having me and like considering me as a guest on your podcast. I'm really honored. I heard some of the other stories and episodes, and I just felt inspired as soon as I saw that you were looking for more guests, I'm like, okay, it just felt completely aligned, and I messaged, and here we are. So thank you
Here
so
we
much for
are.
having me.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sure. And yes, so we do definitely have similar stories. I read what you shared before you came on. There is quite of an overlap when it comes to
Yeah.
our re rebuilding of the life. So maybe we start with your story where you share a little bit about the time when you said um, COVID happened, and then you separated from your partner. And then what did you
Mm-hmm.
do to actually recreate your life again?
Oh, wow. Do you guys have like 10 years?
I know,
You
put
know,
it so right.
I was always one that kind of stuck out and went against the grain and all these things. And as a younger person, I hated that because I didn't fit in. So I want to bring it back a little bit to those moments where I just felt like I was a bit of a black sheep. And then, in high school, um, I was bullied a lot in elementary, and then when it came to high school, I became the bully. I became the funny girl, became the athlete because I never wanted to be bullied anymore. And then, fast forward to now, I look back at those moments, and it's just like it's almost like it shaped me to be the strong person to kind of go against the grain. And so I always knew that I wanted to live in Garden Channel. It was called Island Homes. There was an episode where it was like, okay, there's a 6-bedroom home, 4 bathrooms, and it was for 189,000 overlooking the ocean. So it kind of got me thinking like, I'm living in Vancouver, BC at the moment. It's so expensive to live here. And it kind of was the seed that was planted in my soul. And then fast forward, I became a mother. And that was when my awakening journey just really flourished and came to be. I'm like, I can't see myself raising my kid here. And the catalyst that got me moving was COVID.
Mm.
Yeah. So I saw it for what it was. In my opinion, thought it was the one of the biggest scams of medical history. And so that fast forwarded me to leaving Canada. I was like, I did my research. I was like, I called up my friend. I'm like, hey, if shit really hits the fan here, I don't know if I can swear on here, but if shit really hits the fan here, like we're coming out to see you. And she's like, F that, I'm going to Nicaragua to go see Paula. And then that's kind of when I was like, we have 3 weeks to get out. It was traumatic for everybody because our country was threatening to give us at least one of these things. You need to have at least one shot in order to leave the country. And at this point, I was like, there's no way we're doing that. We had to get out in 3 weeks. And it was just such a panic. Sold everything, lined up my power of attorney as my sister, just in case if things did get really bad, that we can sell our home from afar. So I just thought about everything. I was just in, solution mode. We left. And then, of course, we brought our issues with us. And when you go to a place like that and your foundation with your marriage is a little bit shaky, it really shone a big light. And 6 months after that, we decided to go our separate ways. And here I am lost in this country, a single momming it now. It's not a country where you just do up your resume and get a job. But at this point, I had already fallen in love with the country, so there was no way of going back. So I started doing stand-up comedy, my stand-up comedy events. And so here I am. I started doing my comedy. A colleague of mine that got me this online career was the one that actually shared my post of these stand-up comedy things. And so when he got back, because he was traveling, he got back, we finally met, became instant friends. And I was like, well, what do you do for work? He's like, I work online. And it was almost like my prayers were answered because I would pray. I'm like, give me an online career. I need to meet somebody. And here he was, got me in front of the CEO, and the rest is history. I ended up getting a job with the company, and I absolutely love it. Completely aligned with who I am. It's real estate marketing, and yeah, the rest is history, and the power of social media. I was the person that was never really that gung-ho about social media, but the power of it, like I met you, we're here now. And so there's really a lot of positives now that I can take from being on social media. So
Oh, I
that's my
love that.
story in short form.
That's your story in a
Yeah.
nutshell. Oh, powerful. It's really, yes. And there's so many points I want to touch on because yes, you can always see two sides to everything, right? So social media, if you use it, like people always ask me, how do you do it? Because I seem to be on social media a lot. But when I think about it, this is my office hours, right? I don't use social media for private things. I don't scroll, I don't watch cat videos or whatever the trend is. Um, I really go
Yeah.
in do business on social media. This is where I make my connections. This is where people find me. And this is how, I create my living. And so you can look at it from both sides. It's the same with AI. It's the same with so many things that can be evil or people, have their issues.
Correct.
Or you use it and then you use it in order to amplify your message, in order to do good with it. And yeah, and so I love that you
100%.
you jumped on that and see that. Now we brushed through this, but let's go back to that moment when you then said, all right, I'm in that, pivotal stage of my life where my marriage just ended. I'm definitely in a place where I want to be, but here I am not knowing what's the next step. Like I don't see the future, right? Right now, you look back, you can connect the dots. It's obvious that this lead to that, but back then you were in that really desperate place. So what was your anchor? What was your compass? What made you move forward instead of like crumbling and going back?
I think the biggest thing is, of course, my son, right? Because it's not just about me. I think I would have stayed stuck longer if I didn't have a kid. And not only did my kid push me to the points where I needed to be in order to grow as an individual, but it also showed me how much strength I had to push through something like that, right? Because he is my strength still. And you just really, I don't know, I guess I really, gets me emotional a little bit, right? Uh, he was my biggest why because I didn't ask any questions. Like when we moved, I didn't tell anybody really. I just did my research and I knew I needed to get him to safety. And if I talked to all my friends and all my family members about it, they would have put in their 2 cents and I would have probably stayed. And he was also my reason why I needed to create the separation from my ex-partner. Um, but yeah, it was no longer about me. It
Mm,
was for him. Because it's better to come from a toxic home than to be living in one. Because we were no longer, it was not healthy for anybody, not healthy for my ex-partner, which I wish, nothing but the best for him. And it wasn't healthy for me, and it was definitely not healthy for my son. So
mm,
it took a lot to leave that relationship because I'm like a ride or die kind of girl. And it put me in places that was super uncomfortable, but I'm so grateful now that I'm out of it. I'm like, wow, that had to happen in order for me to get to the place where I'm now. And for any women who are going through it, like it's unimaginable the things that we can overcome
mhm,
when we just learn to love ourselves and learn to put ourselves first.
mhm,
Right. So not only was my son my reason, my sanity was also my reason to keep pushing through. Because I think far too
mhm.
often women, we lose ourselves in relationship, we lose ourselves in friendships. We are really good at pouring from empty cups, and I poured from an empty cup for a very long time. And it got me to nowhere, really, right?
Yeah, that's so true. I think this is really the key when you um, go through motherhood from this. Like I remember when I realized, yes, of course, there's this human being now, in my case too, that I have to, take care of and make sure that they're all right and they become your priority. And then it's very easy to get lost in that role. And I remember sitting, one night breastfeeding my youngest and being really in pain, physical pain. My back hurt, my arm nearly fell off because I was holding him and I was wanted to make sure in this awkward position, wanted to make sure that he's comfortable. And he had this because I knew if I move, he wakes up and then oh whatnot. And then it dawned on me, I was like, what are you doing? Like honestly, Julia, what are you doing? You sit here being in physical pain so that he can continue sleeping.
Hmm.
And then I was like, okay, this has to stop. Like, but little realizations, right? And this obviously played out in other areas as well. But it then
Hmm.
gradually sunk in, and I said, if I'm not looking, after myself first, I can't take care of them in the most like in the way that I want to. But
Hmm.
it takes some wakening up. Takes some time to realize that. And I guess as a mother, you always, as a default, you come into motherhood from this. I want to make sure the baby is right, and either you have community like friends or someone who says, no, 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 you got to focus on your like filling your cup first, and then you're actually the
Yep.
better mom, right? Um,
Yep. Yep, for sure. So I've become a huge advocate for that, and I didn't have a really good role model for that. My mom gave from empty cups all the time. Same thing with my dad. There's 8 kids in my family. How could you fill up your cup? Right? You're constantly giving, 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 giving. And that was like the noble thing to do. And when I look back at my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I always said when I was growing up, like I'll never be like my parents. But then when I became a mother, I was exactly like my mother, you, you know?
yeah, yes, because
And
you,
then you get to this awakening. I actually got really sick because of it. And then
mm,
when I got sick, that's when I was like, it was just all these little moments when I look back, I'm like, I got sick for a reason. It was maybe the universe telling me to slow the F down, and just really take care of my health. Because at that point when I'm sick, I had to take care of my health first, right? And that's when my son was about a year and a half at that point. And I really thought I was dying, really
mhm,
thought I was dying. My body was shutting down. My liver and gallbladder weren't working fully. And that was all because of emotional trauma, And I read this book. It's called The Body Keeps Score from Bessel van der Kolk. Anybody who's listening, like this is such a good book to understand why our bodies react the way they do, because a lot of it comes from emotional turmoil that we hang on to that we don't even know that we're hanging on to,
mm.
And so that's why I share my story openly, because we, as women, we have to take care of ourselves in order to be the best mother, the best partner, the best colleague, the best friend. It really starts with self first. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so this is now what you're doing, right? So I'm just hopping back into the document and seeing you're creating a group and you help women find
Yep.
themselves again and build confidence. So share a little bit how you do that and what's the mission?
So I'm in the beginning stages of it. I'm going to be fully transparent. I am not a professionally certified coach or anything like that. I think I want to break that stigma that you can still help people without these crazy certifications or these government body regulations, because there's something so powerful about experiencing it and going through it and being able to actually truly understand someone because you've gone through it. I've had many counselors during the time that I went through separation. I've hired many healers as well that have certifications up the yin, and they never really could get to a place of understanding me. And when you're going through something like that, you're going through your self shame, self blame, all the shoulda, wouldas. And when you hire someone to help you and they can't understand you, you can kind of feel their energy is kind of judging you a
Mm.
little bit. It didn't actually help me. It actually made me spiral a little bit more. And I'm like, there has to be a different way. There has to be a different way to connect with people through my own experiences, because I genuinely understand how someone is feeling when they're going through a separation, because I've done it, and I'm a total Aquarian, and I get super curious and I'm constantly looking for solutions. I'm a solution finder. So I've done ayahuasca. I did the whole mushroom journey thing. I've done so many different types of modalities that I'm like, okay, this worked, this worked, this worked. That didn't feel so good. And now I want to share my experiences and attract people who are also aligned. So I'm not looking to attract every single client there. I'm
Mm.
looking to attract clients that don't really care about the certifications, that they trust that I can actually help them through my own personal experience, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And being a business coach, um, I see this so many times that people get stuck in that fear, that imposter syndrome state where they say, "Ah, but I have to first get my
Mm,
certification. I want to first get this and that." And I am loving what you're saying because this is my response to them over and over again. You don't need any certificate. And well, if you believe you need it, then go do it. But it will just
mhm,
take up your time and it just will make you have to embody it, you have to live it, and that's your biggest certification and accreditation. And the people who you are helping and influencing, the testimonials, these are the ones that are meaningful and powerful, and they're so much more valuable than any accreditation that you could get from an institution. So yes, 100%. And the way you show up and doing, like, coming on podcasts, sharing your truths on social media, that's the most powerful thing you can do right now, and it will magnetize the people to you in the
yeah,
most
for
powerful
sure.
way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are craving that, all we see online is the fake, the good, the filters. Don't get me wrong, I use filters too because I really like how I look sometimes. But the authenticity, I think people are craving that.
Mm.
People are craving the vulnerability. And when I got strong to share my story, it lit me up when I was getting these DMs like, oh my God, you're so vulnerable. Thank you so much. I feel less alone. It's those moments that I live for. I'm not expecting anything. I'm like, I have nerves too. Everyone's like, oh, you're so brave to do stand-up comedy. You're so brave to get on these things. But if I don't get brave, then I can't help somebody else. And I know that my true calling is to be here to help somebody else, even if it means me looking stupid for a little bit, even if it means me being completely vulnerable and sharing my story. You don't need a certificate to be human. You
Exactly.
really
Yes.
don't. And
It's
so
so
that's how
funny.
I live my life now. I Go ahead.
We have a little lag here, but yeah, you finish your sentence.
Okay. Yeah. I just feel like I'm at that place in my life where I don't give a shit what anybody thinks anymore. And I hope that these words will inspire other people, because when you do that, you're not living your true authentic self. And that's what causes illness.
Mm.
That's what causes depression. That's what causes anxiety. And so if I can show up, then it gives people the courage to show up themselves.
Yes, yes. And it's so funny because I just finished watching there's a movie about Bob Proctor and how he lived his life.
Mm,
And it's just like inspiring to see how this man went for it and failed so many times and stood up again and just kept that vision of himself, and he believed so much in his truth and what he wanted to share, and he was just so passionate about it, and delivering a seminar to just one person because no one else showed up, and he was just going all in and all these things. And the biggest thing that I took away was really asking yourself, what do you really want? And then once you found that answer, and it sounds like you have found that, then just go for it. And
mhm.
every single day, like brushing your teeth or showering, you have to just do it over and over and over again, right? And reconnecting to that.
Exactly like
And
working a muscle.
yeah, it is. It's truly that.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so I love that. Totally can connect with you on this mindset. And it is truly also powerful when you are surrounding yourself with others who think the same way, who believe in the same ethics and the same values, and simply creating your new normal. So have you found that now
Mhm.
in Nicaragua, where is like, do you have like a local community of expats there? How is the situation in person, or is it more online?
Yeah, there's a local community. Yeah, it's definitely the expats here were all on the same page. I thought I was going crazy for a little bit there because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I really going crazy? Because I'm the black sheep in the family, and being in an Asian culture, we're taught to just shut our mouth. Right. We're taught to not speak up. But here, athlete, I do everything that's not necessarily in the scope of what a traditional Asian female is supposed to be. Right. So it's kind of,
Mhm.
I had to break free from that. And when I look back, I'm like, it's crazy because I did have to peel away from my family. And it was as painful as it was also how I needed to have things be in order for me to grow as an individual. And so here, yes, as soon as I landed down, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. There's other expats here that are on the exact same page. And we are such pack animals, you know? So, of course, I gravitated towards this place. I knew I didn't want to go back to Canada to live. That's why I live my life so authentic now, because I know how it feels to be alone, right?
Mhm.
And if I can be brave to share my story, I know someone's going to hear it and
Yeah.
not feel so alone. And if it helps that one person, like you said with Bob Proctor, that's still one person that I've helped out of 8 billion people on this planet, and that is what makes me inspired to continue.
Yeah. Sorry, my cat just um ripped out my charger.
It's
He's
all
just
good. This
playing
is
with the
life.
cable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy cat. Yes, so much yes to this. And yeah, I mean, if we can find these places and connections, and how cool it is to be connected all around the world, and just amplify our messages and help people, even just one person, it's worth it, right? Even just one person. And this,
100%.
the ripple of that is amazing. So help me understand, are you then still doing the stand-up comedy? That's still that you
Well,
keep.
this is the thing. I'm actually going to start with my beta program. I'm incorporating humor into this healing program because I think far too often when people are going through their awakening or their healing journey, we forgot to laugh. The
Yes.
world has forgotten to laugh as a whole, right? When you look at everyone's so sensitive, like all these isms were put in place to really separate humanity from each other because when we're all separated, we're easier to control, right?
Mm.
That's another rabbit hole that we'll go down maybe one day. But I want to create togetherness. I grew up in a family, there's 8 of us, right? It's all like I was born into a community. So for me, it's just natural to just be myself and like encourage people to help one another, and we've gotten so far away from it. And hopefully in bringing the humor into this as a tool to help people heal, because laughing
Mhm.
alone is so healing. And I think we
Mm.
forget that when we're doing the work.
Mhm. Yes, I love that.
Hmm.
I can see that even like
Yeah,
really blowing up if you go and think big and say I want to, create retreats or host retreats or do that on bigger
that's
stages
what
and really get people, yeah, connected with
laughing
their
again.
humor. Yeah, laughing. Ah, I love
It's
it.
funny that you're saying that because I actually had a couple of visions come through, like in my dreams, that I'm like, I can see myself on these stages.
Mhm.
And I actually had an astrologer read my thing, and she said that I'm going to be in the public eye. And I already knew that, but there was
Mhm.
something that was like kind of holding me back. And I know what was holding me back. I went and did a comedy show one time and I completely flopped. And that was my like, oh, you suck. And the inner critic comes in. But yeah, I know it's gonna be big. It's just a matter of me getting out of my way. I have nerves too. And just getting it done.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I can see it. I can feel it. It's like this. There's no doubt in like I can feel it in your vibration and yeah, it's exciting. And it's just like this one,
Oh, thank you.
you know, this failure is part of the road. And it just also means that if you after that still have that desire and still say, I'll try it anyways, then this is just you proving the universe,
Hmm.
Mother God, whatever you want to believe in, that you're truly serious about this. And so it's good. It's healthy.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Well, and
Cool.
as you're saying that word failure, I also have been doing a lot of work around our communication with ourselves, right? Using the words, like it's not failure, it's learning experiences, right?
Mm. Yes.
And learning to reprogram our verbiage and how we look at these things, because it's at the end of the day, it's all about perspective.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. And, when you learn to, like, when we talk about self-love and you really want to be kind to yourself, like this experience, and you're right, it's not a failure. It was just that one experience that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to be,
Yeah.
right? And then imagine your son would have been on that stage. What would you say? What would you tell him? And then talk to you
Yes,
exactly the
exactly.
same way. That
Yeah.
this is how I think this is such a powerful tool when you speak to yourself as if you talked to that child that you're raising, then suddenly you're so much more compassionate with yourself. And this
Hmm.
everyday people do this bad talking and this like nagging at yourself. This is
Negative. Yep.
actually chipping away over time. But if you're doing it the opposite and really empower yourself, this helps. It's definitely getting you to a different level. I truly believe in that.
Yeah. And that's great, and us, I feel like parents in this day and age right now, we are meant to break these cycles. Because when you look at how my parents raised us, it was always about tough love. Like, I'd go outside and like, what are you doing? You're being so stupid. You need to put on a jacket. But then the underlying message of that is like, I know my parents love me. They don't want me to be cold, but it was just the way it was delivered, right? And so
Mhm.
when I look back at my childhood, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have so much more compassion towards my parents now because I've done the work on myself. And there's always that saying in the community of healing is you can only meet someone to the depths that you've met yourself. Right. So if
Mhm.
you don't have compassion or love or um, laughter within yourself, how are you able to give that to the world, right? You can't. So it's so important for us to do the work, right? And some people might call it selfish, but you know what, that word, I used to hate that word, but like, you know what, I have to be selfish in order for me to be able to give back to my community. So I now look at that word as like, yeah, you're right, I am being selfish and I don't care about it.
Mm.
All these little things.
Do you know Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she says that like, yes, you have to be selfish. This is your number one mission, because if you're not taking care of
Yep.
yourself, just like you said, how are you ever going to be
Yep.
like this aligned and complete person? And yeah, so absolutely. But it takes like it's so funny because we obviously have gone through things and have done the work, and then um like everything you say, yes, 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 I say obviously, but it
But
takes
it's not obvious.
it's not obvious.
Yes.
No. It takes some time, and it
No.
takes these realizations, and you have to go through them yourself. So if you are, and I'm talking to the listeners now, if you're not at this point right now where it all makes sense, what we just are chatting away, in this beautiful morning here, um, then also trust and know that it might have stirred something in you, some curiosity. What are these two crazy ladies talking about here in this podcast? I'm
Right?
Does it make sense? It may not make sense right now, but on a soul level, it might resonate, and you feel like, oh, but something is stirring in me. And then go after that curiosity and really dig deep, because this is the work. This is it. Like, um,
Yes.
you just have to
And as
remember.
you're saying that, I just want to chime in. When we get triggered, it's so easy to be like, you did this to me. But if what we're talking about triggers you or makes you feel some sort of way, I encourage you guys to go in, because it's so easy to be like, oh, what are these ladies saying? Well, get curious instead. Curiosity was really what was really profound for me in this whole healing thing. I just got
Mm.
curious. Instead of judging it, the old Cathy, I started embracing the curiosity. And then that's when just everything just started to open.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
Curiosity is king.
It's key. Yes, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more or final wisdoms that you would like the listeners to take away from this chat?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is trust where you are in the journey, wherever you are, and most importantly, give yourself grace, because I think we live in a world where it's instant gratification all the time. And
Mm.
there's so many moments where I'm like, I'm doing so many things and I should be here and I should be there. And I wasn't. And I was actually beating myself up. And in doing that, it actually slowed my progress down. Right.
Mm.
So I think my biggest takeaway for anybody who's hearing this and is on their healing journey is self-grace, self-compassion.
Yes, powerful. Thank you so much. That's true. And it's like
You're so
with
welcome.
with gardening, I always love this example or analogy, because if you put the
Yeah.
seed into the soil, you also have to water and tend it and wait. And it's exactly with everything what you're doing in life. There is like an action, and it's not that we're sitting down thinking about our visions and doing the meditation and then plop the things. You can like get better at
Mm-hmm.
like instant manifestations, but it's usually like
Mm-hmm.
you're building up to it and reconnecting and getting into the frequency. So I love that you share that. Thank you so much for your
Yes.
time.
Oh,
I'm
thank you
happy.
so much. And I just want to add one more thing, actually.
Mm.
You said the power of speaking kinder to yourself. There's actually proven that, words have vibration. And
Mm.
they did a study where they had two plants they were planted. One was getting spoken to with positive words, and then the
Great.
other one, they had the kids speak really poorly to it. And the one that was growing faster was the one that was actually getting spoken to with positivity. They spoke really good words into the water before they watered it, and it grew way faster than the one that was actually spoken to with bad words and negative, like you're
Mm.
ugly, you're not going to grow. It's everything has vibration, so being cognizant of our words too.
Yeah, perfect. And with this, I want to end this show today, and wishing you all the best, and really want to send these words of affirmation to your way, and trust in yourself, love yourself more, laugh a little more, and life is going to respond back. So lots of love. Thanks again, Cathy, for
Yes.
being on,
Thank you
and
so much.
see you next time.